So today I'm going to talk about my experience with the Storydeck trading cards that happened at Dragonsteel Nexus 2024. First of all, this was my first experience going to Dragonsteel Nexus, and I get the impression that it was an atypical experience for three reasons. First of all, it was a Stormlight year, and that was the big epic book that released this past December. So if I had to guess, when it's not the linchpin of the midpoint of Brandon Sanderson's magnum opus, the atmosphere is probably a little less hectic. Secondly, I attended as a panelist. Tickets went on sale in, I think, May of 2024, and I didn't buy one because I live in California, and while I can comfortably live at home to go to San Diego Comic-Con and take public transit to get there, I wasn't planning to fly to another state to go to this convention as much as I may have wanted to go. And then I found where I could apply to be a panelist, and having gone to nerd conventions, it's been a secret dream of mine to be a panelist at a nerd convention. So knowing that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, I applied, and then in August I had a meeting with the lovely folks at Dragonsteel, and they said that they had 2 panels in mind for me, and how did I feel about that? Absolutely ecstatic is how I felt about that. So I was issued a general admission badge, and then I had 3 months to sort out making a cosplay because I was going to be on a panel about the fashion of the Cosmere. This was not a requirement, it's just something that I wanted to do because I love cosplay and I wanted to be in cosplay to talk about the costumes of the Cosmere. Thank you to every single one of you out there who was at that panel and became a subscriber because you came up to me because you recognized my costume and I was like, hey, I'll be posting how I did it. So everything helps when my channel is this small, and I appreciate every single one of you. It was a completely surreal feeling to have people coming up to me for the rest of the con because they recognized me from the panel that I was on. The last reason that I'm sure that this Dragonsteel was an atypical experience was the introduction of this story deck. So let me take a minute to explain how this worked. I picked up my badge, I got the typical lanyard and convention pin, and then there was this World Hopper passport. And what was unmistakably, for anybody who's ever been adjacent to a trading card game ever, 2 booster packs of cards. I didn't think much of it at first because despite having a small collection of Magic the Gathering cards, I haven't played since Shards of Alara, and it's not really my scene. Then I found out about the passport. There were certain vendors in the exhibit hall that had a medallion displayed that said Silverlight Certified, and if you went around and got a stamp from all of them, you then went and turned it back in at the Silverlight Mercantile tent. And this is... I speed ran the passport and took it to all of those booths that had the symbol on them, and then I turned it in, and this is where I realized that by completing the pages of the passport was how you got the booster packs of the cards. Cue me abandoning about half of the programming that I planned to see at the con because I was going around doing the specific challenges required to get the stamps, to get the cards, to build the decks for the trading card game. And I can only guess that Dan and Brandon know exactly the kind of card-grubbing gremlins that they were going to be dealing with because you could only complete certain pages of the passport by going to programming panels and getting your passport stamped on the way out. This is the only way I could see that people wouldn't just skip all of the programming at the con to No Life the trading card game. I'm not even a trading card person, and the FOMO still kind of got to me. And this was further complicated for me because there was absolutely nothing in the Nalthus programming room that I wanted to see for the entire con. I got the Nalthus Ghostblood stamp, and you could get the Ghostblood stamp by going around and finding very specific people in the exhibit hall that would stamp it for a different planet. And then I just walked up to the panel room around the time that programming was going to be changing, walked in the back door, up to the front, out the front door, got it stamped, and that was my Nalthus page complete. I'm still missing Herald 7, 8, and 9, but that was the great meme of the convention whenever you walked past anybody who was doing anything with the cards, because RNGesus was not kind to us with high numbers for either the decks or the Herald cards. I saw the announcement that the con merch was up for sale, and I finally bought the binder for the cards so that they have a home to live, and they're not just sitting on my desk in a Ziploc bag with handles. And I got this bag because I was walking around the exhibit hall with all of my cards in my hands, and the group of line friends that I was with, one of them went up to ask about something, and one of the other workers at the booth looked at me in the background and went, "Honey, do you want a bag with handles?" And I said, "Yes, please." So that has been the home of my cards until this binder comes in. My critique of the Storydeck system, because I haven't actually read the stories yet, is that they should have had different deck boxes or different sizes of deck boxes, because the free one handed out with the con swag was enough to hold one deck of cards with some room to spare, but it can't hold 2 decks. And there are 3 story decks that you were trying to build over the course of this trading card event, plus the nonsense cards, plus the heralds. Handing out 2 boxes that would have each held 2 decks would have been not ideal, but at least better. That way I could have been carrying around everything with a way to protect it. The box that I have is currently holding all of my duplicates. I get that the point of the binder is to protect the cards and have something to carry around, but they sold out, and as far as I'm aware, they had more binders than people at the con, and people were buying multiple binders because they wanted a regular one and then one with their foils and card-grubbing gremlins. I also feel like if it's a point being made at the convention and we're getting all of these cards for running around doing all of these challenges, I don't want to have to buy another piece of merch to keep everything organized and protected, but because I will buy anything Cosmere related, just insert shut up and take my money. My other big critique is that it took a lot of time. Not just the length of the quest to locate and solve the puzzles for the Taldane passport page, but waiting in line to try and turn in my completed pages. It ate into a lot of other things that I wanted to do at the con, and maybe would have been better utilized to spice up a convention where there wasn't a big Stormlight release happening, and people weren't sitting in the back of panel rooms reading the heckin' chonker of a book that got released the Thursday night of the con. Anyway, once I get the binder in the mail, maybe I can do an unboxing video, and then I will read the stories when I have them laid out in a nice, easily digestible format, and I can talk about the stories of the decks more fully. So, guess what showed up while I was editing this video? It's my Storydeck binder. I'm gonna grab my scissors and make sure that I don't cut too far into the package, because I also bought my boyfriend the shirt from Tress of the Emerald Sea. So I'm just gonna throw that over on his desk to the right. Ah, there it is. I've been waiting so long for this, and I realized it was upside down, so I refilmed a little bit so you can see the front and all of its gold foil glory. I'm so happy that I have this and I can finally organize all the cards, and yeah, this clip only takes 28 seconds for you to watch, but it took me probably a solid 10 minutes to put all of the cards into each individual little pocket. And about halfway through the binder, the card slots end up going from the back of the pages to the front of the pages to fit all 3 stories in there, and then there are about 5 blank pages left at the back of the binder once it was all done. In the meantime, I will be resisting the urge to buy the $100 box of cards in the vain hope that I will get Heralds 7 through 9. Please let me know what you thought of the story decks down in the comments. Please do all those delicious things that feed the almighty algorithm, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!